Behind me is Apsley House, a fantastic house here in the centre of London, designed around 1778 by Robert Adam. It's the former home of Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, and is known as Number 1 London, because when visitors to London pass through the toll gates at Knightsbridge, this is the first property they came to. So in this video I'm going to take a walk around the streets of London to see how many more historic properties I can discover as I count from 1 to 100. And hopefully along the way we'll find numerous blue plaques and other historic pieces of information. And this house was built in a historic location because it's the location of a former pub called the Hercules Pillars. And the pub was immortalised by Henry Fielding in his book The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling. And it's where Squire Weston resides when he first journeys up to London. So I wonder how many more historic properties and amazing bits of historical information I'm going to find as I walk around London. So let's start counting to 100 with Apsley House and number 1. And we have our first blue plaque. And this house was built around 1825 and is the former home of the Earl and Countess Mountbatten of Burma. And they lived here on Wilton Crescent at number 2. We have 2 blue plaques on this house. The first is to Captain Frederick Marryat, who was a Royal Naval officer and novelist of nautical fiction, and is particularly noted for his semi-autobiographical novel entitled Mr. Midshipman Easy. And also who lived here was George Gross Smith, who was an English comedian, writer, composer, actor, singer, and his performing career spanned over more than 4 decades. They lived here on Spanish Place at number 3. And we have another blue plaque, and this one is to Felix Mendelssohn, the great composer, who once stayed here at Hobart Place at number 4. This house has Roman numerals on the pillars. It's number 5. And this one commemorates Sir Frederick Treves, the surgeon, who lived in this house between 1886 and 1907. And his most famous client was Joseph Merrick, who was known as the Elephant Man. And he lived here on Wimpole Street at number 6. Number 7 and number 8. This one's to Richard Savage, 4th Earl Rivers, Governor of the Tower of London from 1660 to 1712. And he used to live here on Old Queen Street at number 9. The door behind me may look very familiar. It's a popular design back in the early 18th century, and there's a near identical copy to be located on Downing Street, which is the home of the British Prime Minister. But this door is located on Adam Street, and it's also number 10. This one is to Robert Fordyce Aikman, and he was an English writer and conservationist. He co-founded the England Waterways Association, one of the most successful conservation organisations in British history. He succeeded in restoring and reopening much of the original canal network. He lived here on Gower Street at number 11. And we have a heritage plaque, and this one commemorates Samuel Pepys, the great diarist, who lived here from 1679 to 1688 on Buckingham Street at number 12. And another blue plaque, and this one commemorates Sir Harry Ricardo, one of the early pioneers of the internal combustion engine, and he was born here in 1885 on Russell Square at number 13. And we're back in Buckingham Street for the next heritage plaque, and this one commemorates several people. In a house formerly standing on this site lived Samuel Pepys, statesman Robert Harley, the Earl of Oxford, painter William Etty, and the painter Clarkson Stanfield. And he was best known for his large-scale paintings of marine art and landscapes. Absolutely brilliant. 4 people commemorated on one heritage plaque here on Buckingham Street. at number 14. And this one is to Lord Kelvin, physicist and inventor, who lived here. His name was William Thomson, known as the first Baron Kelvin, and he was the first scientist to be elevated to the House of Lords back in 1892. He gives his name to the Kelvin temperature scale. 0 degrees Kelvin is known as absolute zero, and this is the lowest possible temperature where all molecular energy actually stops at that temperature. 0 degrees Kelvin is approximately minus 273.15 in centigrade, or minus 459.67 in Fahrenheit. It's about 4 times colder than the coldest place on Earth. Too cold for me. But what a brilliant man he was. He was also knighted by Queen Victoria back in 1866. And he lived here on Eaton Place at number 15. Wonder if we'll find any more inventors and scientists. Let's keep walking. And this one's to the artist Thomas Rawlinson, who was an artist and caricaturist in the Georgian era, noted for his political satire and social observations. And some of his caricatures were a little risky for the day. And he lived here on John Adams Street at number 16, 17, 18. And we have a heritage plaque. Benjamin Disraeli, former Prime Minister and Earl of Beaconsfield, died here in 1881 on Curzon Street at number 19. This is the most popular number in central London because it denotes the speed limit of pretty much every road in the capital. Number 20. Number 21. And we have another blue plaque, and this one's to the author Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond novels. And he lived here on Ebury Street at number 22. And this one's to the great guitarist Jimi Hendrix, who lived here between 1968 and 1969 on Brook Street at number 23. And this one's to the author Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. And she lived here on Craven Square between 1846 and 1851 at number 24. And this one's to the author Herman Melville, who wrote Moby Dick. And he lived here in 1849 on Craven Street at number 25. This passageway on Tottenham Street was once a filming location. It was used in the 1964 film A Hard Day's Night starring the Beatles. And it's next door to number 26. I wonder how many other filming locations we'll discover as I walk around London. 27. And we have another blue plaque. Lord Haldane lived here. Richard Burden Haldane. He was a lawyer, a philosopher and an influential British Liberal and later Labour politician. He was Secretary of State for War between 1905 and 1912, during which time the Haldane reforms of the British Army were implemented. And he lived here on Queen Anne's Gate at number 28. And this one's to Sir John Lubbock, Baron Avebury, who was born here in 1834 on Eaton Place at number 29. Number 30, 31. And this one is to Frederick Edwin Smith, Conservative politician and barrister. He died aged 58 on the 30th of September 1930 and lived here at Ebury Street at number 32. 33. And we have another blue plaque, and this one commemorates Phileas J. Fogg, who opened an apothecary store here back in 1883 in Brook Street at number 34. Didn't he go around the world in 80 days? I'll have to check that. 35. And we have a heritage plaque on this house, and this is the last standing former residence of Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. The house dates from around 1730 and is where Franklin lived and worked from 1757 until 1774. and it's located here on Craven Street at number 36. And this one's to Neville Chamberlain, who lived here between 1923 and 1935. And he was a former Prime Minister of England from May 1937 to May 1940. And he died on the 9th of November 1940, aged 71. And he lived here on Eaton Square at number 37. 38. 39. I like the way this number's written. It's number 40. We have another blue plaque to an author, and this one is to Sir Anthony Hope Hawkins, or Anthony Hope as he is known. He lived here from 1903 to 1917, and he's best remembered as the author of the book The Prisoner of Zenda, and he lived here on Bedford Square, number 41. 42. And this one is to Prince Metternich, an Austrian statesman who lived here in 1848. He was a German statesman and diplomat in the service of the Austrian Empire, and his full name was Clemens Wenzel Nepomuk Lothar Prince Metternich Wittenberg zu Bilstein, and he died in Vienna on the 11th of June 1859. And he lived here on Eaton Square at number 43. Let's keep walking and see what else we can find. 44. 45. Behind me is the former family home of John Bingham, the 7th Earl of Lucan, or Lord Lucan as he was known. He was accused of murdering the family nanny, a lady called Sandra Rivet, who resided in the house as well. Lord Lucan departed the property at 10 p.m. on the 8th of November 1974 and was never seen of again. What did happen to John Bingham, Lord Lucan, and what happened on that night behind the closed doors of number 46 Lower Belgrave Street? 47. And we have another blue plaque. This one's to the author Charles Dickens, who lived in this house from 1812 to 1870, here on Doherty Street at number 48. And next door is number 49, which is the Charles Dickens Museum. This really is a beautiful Art Deco entrance into this building. It was once used as a film location. If anyone's seen the television comedy Goodnight Sweetheart, starring Nicholas Lyndhurst as a time-travelling Gary Sparrow, well, this was used as his London residence during the war, Gary and Phoebe's residence. And it's located at Sloane Street at number 50. So let's keep walking and see what else we can discover as I continue to count from 51 up to 100. 51. And here comes another bus. It's the number 52. 53. And this one's to the actress Vivien Leigh. She played Scarlett O'Hara in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. And who can forget her performance as Blanche in the 1951 film A Streetcar Named Desire. And she lived here on Eaton Square at number 54. This number's above an underground station. It's number 55. 56. 57. This blue plaque is to the composer Hector Berlioz, who stayed here on Queen Anne's Gate in 1851 at house number 58. 59. This one's a little different. It's 59 and a half. 60. 61. And we have a heritage plaque here, and this one commemorates Major General Benedict Arnold, who resided here from 1796 until his death on the 14th of June, 1801. But he may have been an American citizen, but he certainly wasn't a patriot in the true sense of the word. More like a traitor, because it was during the American Revolutionary War that General George Washington placed him in command of West Point in New York. Arnold was planning to surrender the fort to the British forces, but the plot was discovered in September of 1780, whereupon he fled to the British lines. and in the latter part of the war, Arnold was commissioned as a brigadier general in the British Army and led British forces in battle against the previous army which he had once commanded. His name became synonymous with treason and betrayal in the United States. Rather a colourful character, but he really wasn't a patriot. And I say he died here in this house on Gloucester Place at number 62, 63, 64. And this plaque commemorates the writer Wilkie Collins, who wrote numerous novels, including The Moonstone back in 1868 and The Woman in White in 1859. And he lived here on Gloucester Place at number 65. And this is the architect John Nash. Not only did he live in the terrace behind me, but he also designed it as well, along with Marble Arch, the Royal Pavilion in Brighton and Buckingham Palace. And he lived here at number 66, Russell Street. And another blue plaque, and this one commemorates the historian Henry Hallam, who lived here on Wimpole Street at number 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. And we have another bus, the number 76, 77. And we have a heritage plaque, and this one is to Pascal Paoli, who fought tirelessly for the freedom of Corsica. He was a Corsican patriot, statesman and military leader who was at the forefront of resistance movements against the Genoese and later French rule over the island. And he lived here in this house at number 78, South Audley Street. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. And we have another blue plaque, and this one is to Tom Moore, the poet, who was an Irish writer, poet, lyricist, and widely regarded during his lifetime as Ireland's national bard. And he once lived here on George Street at number 85. I wonder how many more blue plaques we're going to find. We're nearly reaching the 100. So let's keep walking. 86, 87. This house is on Warwick Way, and there's a green heritage plaque outside. And it's to Arthur Haygarth, who was a cricketer and historian. And he died here back in 1903 at number 88, 89, 90. Back on Gower Street. And behind me on the wall is a blue plaque to George Dance the Younger. He was an architect designing numerous buildings within London and around the country. And he died here in 1825 at number 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. The pub previously on this site was called the Crown and Sugarloaf, but was renamed as the Punch Tavern in the 1840s, as Punch magazine had its office nearby. And you can see on the pub sign, a Mr. Punch. And the pub is located at number 99, Fleet Street. And I've made it to Simpson's, one of London's oldest English traditional restaurants, opened back in 1828 and here in the Strand in 1904, located at number 100. I've done it. I've walked around London, found some great blue plaques, lots of history and lots of interesting numbers as well on buses and other buildings. So there we go. My video has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey, because there's another video coming along very shortly. But where from?